Hey, what is up everyone, and welcome to January's episode of the monthly pre-order roundup. I'm going to be going over what I consider to be the highlights of January's pre-orders from Japan, and there is a lot to go over. I have about 50 tabs open on my computer right now, just to give you an idea of how much I'm going to be going through, and even then, it's not everything, so without further ado, let's get started. So we're getting Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses. I did not see this coming. I really thought Intelligent Systems was going to keep heading towards their direction of like classic beloved characters. Not to say Byleth is not beloved, she is, but I thought they were heading towards like older characters first. But all that being said, I think this is the best looking Fire Emblem figure of the 4 recent ones we've seen so far. Her face looks spot on, the sword looks perfect, the way it's actually extending around her body with like the flame or just like those special effect parts look really cool. The tights look amazing. I mean, they had to nail the tights. If they didn't do it right, people would have been really upset. And just like the overall sculpt looks really good. I guess you could argue that maybe the pose is like a little awkward, maybe. But really, I'm just stretching to be a contrarian. I think this figurine looks really good. I'm not sure if I'm going to pre-order it just yet. You know, I only have so much space. But they're actually giving us a lot of time to pre-order this. I think until July, which is really long. Like, that is a lot of time to allow us to pre-order a figurine. Normally, it's like 2 or 3 months. So, I don't have to worry about it right now. But this one is definitely on my maybe list. So Rena from Higurashi is actually getting a bunny girl figure, but she comes with a hatchet and she's got these like sick boots on and stockings over the fishnets. And I think this is one of the most unique bunny girl figures we've gotten in a long time. A lot of bunny girl figures don't really have variety in like their body sculpt and their accessories, so I think this figure really stands out among the rest of the bunnies. I do believe that at some point they're going to re-release this figurine like they like to do with the bunnies, but they're going to give her like a different face with dead eyes and blood, and maybe they'll take off the stockings, and that will probably be the better figure. But is it really worth it if you're a Rena fan to not get this if you only want one and take the gamble? I don't think so. I still think this figure looks great, and if you're a fan of the series, you should definitely consider getting this one. And just to keep talking about bunnies real quick, Stephanie and Gerbil from No Game No Life are getting re-releases for their bunny girl figures. These are the bare leg versions. I prefer stockings, so I think the older ones are a little better, but to each their own, right? Since these are already released technically, you can go look them up if you want more information on them, so you don't really have to worry about like the gamble. This next one is really charming. I don't know what else to say. I think it's really funny and cute. This Marinoa Truless figure where it's like a diner girl with like a burger and fries and a soda, and she's got these like big elf ears, but the elf ears have an earring that say diner, and they're like really big letters, so you can't really miss it. She's also got the roller blades and the stool and the floor that matches for that like diner look. I just like this one. I don't think I'm gonna get it, but I do like it. So I think we had 2 Hololive Nendoroids this month, and Rushia was the first. And I think they did a great job with her. Sometimes it feels like these Hololive Nendoroids don't come with everything you would expect them to, but it really does feel like Rushia's package is complete. She gets like her knife, she gets the Pyoko bird, the dead fan, she comes with a desk that you can break in half. It just seems like the complete package. Her faceplates are really good. The color scheme looks really clean, if not a little flat, but that's just kind of how she looks anyway. This one's a bit tempting, I don't know, I might get it. I really love what Megahouse is doing with this Dark Magician figure. It just looks so gritty and edgy, and that's normally not what I go for, but in this case, it's just working for me. I really do hope this one turns out good because I think it's just cool in general, like the way it's painted and the pose, and it's got a cool action base. Everything just seems like it's coming together for this figure, so I really hope the final product delivers. This Levi was released a while ago, I think like 3 years, and after it came out, the prices on the aftermarket were nuts. But now you get another chance to get it, and I think you should. This is probably one of the coolest Levi figures that are on the market right now. Like, try and think of how many times you've seen an anime figurine that's covered in blood and looks like the character was beaten the hell out of. It really doesn't happen that often, and I think that's what makes this so special and what's so interesting about it to me. And at the price of 13,600 yen, you really can't go wrong. I think this one is a no-brainer. I think if you're a fan of Levi, you should jump on this for sure. So why does this cost 36,000 yen? Is it the feet? Like, what's the reason? I don't understand. Now, Tulavru is popular, right? I get it. And Nemesis is a popular character as well. But when the character is small, normally shouldn't it cost less to make it? So why does it cost more than like any bunny I've seen before? Now don't get me wrong, her hair looks nice, I like the gradient, and it's all flowing on the ground. But really, what are you paying for here? I do think this is a nice looking bunny, but I really feel like they're taking advantage of their fans on this one, and I'm not sure if you should support something like that. This Mai figure is alright. I think if you like Mai, this would be fine, but I just feel like putting her in a Chinese dress is not very interesting. Her face looks good, and I think her body does complement the dress, but the paint isn't too impressive to me. And this is the second figure that comes with a stool this episode. That's kind of weird. Every single BTS member is getting a Nendoroid, and they're all releasing at the exact same time for 5,000 yen each. I think that's kinda crazy to ask your fans for like 35,000 yen all at once, plus shipping and whatever else fees might be included. Consider Love Live, a series that got 9 Nendoroids per group. Those figures trickled in. You got like 1 pre-order a month, maybe 2, and they would slowly release as the months went on, so you didn't have to pay for all of them at once. And maybe there's just like a contractual issue where they aren't allowed to release them separately. Maybe they don't want to make you think they're playing favorites by releasing one first instead of another. I don't know. Either way, they're pretty like bare bones as far as accessories go. You get a microphone and a second faceplate. And if you pre-order through the Good Smile site, you will get like a bonus acrylic sheet as like a background piece for the Nendoroid. So I guess take that into consideration if you want them. I honestly forgot who this was the first time I saw it, and it wasn't until I read the description that it's the girl from Subaru. And I don't know, this one's not really doing it for me. I think her face looks a little off. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on this, but this one seems like it's only going to be bought by specific people who really like Risa, but I could be wrong. So Hachiman is finally getting a Nendoroid. I think it's been like 8 years since that show aired, which is kind of insane when you think about it. He doesn't come with many accessories, but I think this is more just like if you want the character, so it's nice that they're making it. And they're also re-releasing Yuikno, so if you missed out on her, now's your perfect chance to pick her up. So this next figure has 2 versions, if you didn't know. One that's red with a green base, and one that's blue with a blue base. Now, I personally think the blue one looks a little nicer. It's a bit softer on the eyes. I think the other one is a bit of an eyesore. The flowers on the bottom also just look better on the blue base as well. It took me a while to realize this, but she's also holding a gun in the back. I probably would have realized that if I read that this was Girl's Frontline, but I didn't do that until now, so. The way she's bending her stomach a little bit kind of makes it seem like she's slightly chubby, and I doubt she actually is. It's kind of hard to see from the photos, but it would be pretty cool if she was, just saying. So this Black Rock shooter, at first, I didn't like it. And when I say at first, I mean when it was shown off at like a One Fest a while ago. But now that it's here, and now that it's fully painted, and it's up for pre-order, I've just been looking at it more and more, and I really have turned around on it. I think I want this. The pose is perfect. The base is outstanding. The way like the rocks are just like completely falling off the center, but still maintaining that like surrounding area and staying around the figure is super cool. It's got like a nice chain around the rocks, or giant arm cannon, of course, the jacket, the bikini top. Everything is just so on point here. And the one thing that like is stopping me a little bit, besides shipping fees, so I don't know what I'm gonna do about that, is the face looks a little off sometimes to me. I don't really know what it is. Sometimes I look at it and I think it's fine. And other times I look at it and I think, it's a bit lifeless and dead, and I don't know. I think I'm just being way too picky. If One Fest came around and there wasn't really much exciting me, I probably would have already pre-ordered this, but now that we don't know when that is happening, I kind of want to wait a little bit longer and just like pre-order at the last second if I do. I am sure this will come out fantastically. I know it will. Max Factory always delivers, but I'm just gonna wait a little bit longer before I pull the trigger. Coconut Race Queen version, huh? I think they made one other Nekopara Race Queen, if I'm correct. And I'm pretty sure that one didn't come out well. I think a lot of people were upset about it. And that one was cheaper than this. This one cost almost 20,000 yen, and that other one cost around 14. So for them to ask for 6,000 more is a bit of a stretch, but I do think the prototype looks pretty nice. It's kind of funny. I think that adding like a maid outfit to a race queen outfit is really something, but I do like some of this. Gonna show my bias with this one, but I think Arthur looks fantastic. I was waiting to see what this one would look like, and I think they delivered. The armor suit is like perfectly painted, right? He's got one faceplate, but there's like a ball joint or something in the mouth so that you can open it like up and down. He's got a few weapons, like all the iconic ones, the lance, the knife, the fire. He even comes with like a treasure chest. I think this one looks really cool. The only problem is that it's 7,000 yen, and I don't know if I really feel like spending 7,000 yen on an Arthur. I think this shorter dress for Yotsuba makes a lot of sense for this character, and while I think this is a fairly simple figure design and maybe not worth the whole price, I do think it's very cute, and I like her pose, like how she's extending her arms ready to like embrace you. The face is also really cute, and I like how instead of just going with white, they made the dress like this really subtle tint of green. I think it was a good call. Does anyone else think that Bojji looks a little weird? I feel like he would have fit the Nendoroid template perfectly, and yet here we are. Now, I think it comes down to like the default face and his skin tone. He looks extremely pale, more than like any other normal anime character would, and that's strange. And normally, while the default faceplate is usually the one you don't stick with, for Bojji, you kinda have to have it because he's making that iconic V-mouth, and without the V-mouth face, it's just not Bojji, you know what I'm saying? Luckily, the rest of the Nendoroid looks fine, and everything about Kage looks really good, and if you pre-order it from Good Smile, you also get an additional third Kage, so if you want Kage, this is a good Nendoroid to get. But for Bojji, I honestly feel like the Figuarts is better. I think it comes with much better faceplates, and just overall looks like the character more, so maybe look into that if you want a Bojji figure. I have completely lost count of how many Ryzas they've made. At least this one is Ryza 2, so the design is a little different. But yeah, this is a pretty alluring, sexy swimsuit figure. She is very curvy. And even though I don't buy swimsuit figures, I was almost tempted to buy this, but at the same time, it's Spirit Tail. Spirit Tail has not had a good track record lately. They're very, like, average at best so far, to put it nicely. And if this was cheaper, that would be okay. But at 24,700 yen, that is a lot to invest in. And it's a shame because a lot of things about this figure are really nice. Her face is spot on, and the hair looks good, the inflatable toys look really cute. Obviously, it's a swimsuit figure, and she has those kind of curves that'll make you want to buy a swimsuit figure, if you get what I'm saying. Maybe this will come out good, and I'll regret it. But right now, I think you have to wait and see, because Spirit Tail has not really been putting out the best figures for what they're asking for yet. We are still making Is the Order a Rabbit figures, and I guess I shouldn't complain because this Coco is pretty cute. It's really soft on the eyes. I really like the purple and pink color scheme they went with. Now, I do wish that the base looked a little better. I'm not a fan of the bottom nor the effect parts that are keeping her up in the air. But if you can ignore that, then I do think that this is a pretty solid choice for a Coco figure, assuming you want something that is Halloween related. I said earlier that I thought Rushia's Nendoroid came out really well, but Subaru's might be even better, with a slight catch to that. Now, I think as far as the Hololive Nendoroids go, this one looks amazing. It looks exactly like her. I feel like they somehow managed to get the exact face sculpts they needed, so every single faceplate looks really good here, and her outfit looks super adorable, and she even comes with a duck, so you can't go wrong. You get the duck. The only problem with this is that her accessories are much worse, in my opinion, than Rushia's. Besides the duck. The duck kind of saves it. But she comes with these, like, tweets, as if I couldn't just make that on my own at home with a printer. And I don't really get why I would want this. I guess it's cute, but it's not exciting, and it's not something I'm ever going to use. So I think it's a missed opportunity. And the other unfortunate thing about this figure is that it's actually exclusive. So unlike a lot of the other Hololive Nendoroids, Max Factory decided to make this exclusive to the store and certain sites, so it's a little more expensive as a result. I absolutely would have pre-ordered this if it wasn't for that, so now I have to think about if I want to spend way more money on a Nendoroid. But I really do think this one is one of the best so far. I don't know much about Illumina, but I have heard that they're not that great. But this prototype has one thing going for it that I really like, and that's her dress. Her dress just looks like actual cloth. Like, it looks like if I were to pick this figure up, the dress would just like drape down with gravity, you know what I'm saying? It just looks so soft and frilly. Everything about the dress looks amazing. Her face also just looks like super sweet, and her hair looks good. I don't know, I think there's a lot here that is promising for a prototype. Alright, this Rika is a bit sus, and I don't know why they decided to go this route, because everything else about this figure really does look amazing. I think the paint job, the sculpt, all of her accessories like the kitty inflatable, and the sun hat, and the beach ball, those all look super good. And then they decided to sexualize it, and while I'm not here to judge you, I don't feel like this will sell as well, because you're gonna limit who's gonna buy this by going that direction. If they just made a figure of Rika without all like the popsicle shenanigans going on, I feel like everyone who liked Rika would want this, but now it's only people who want Rika in that like suggestive pose, and I don't think it will sell as well as a result. Yo, who likes the boys though? This is such a weird Figma to make. I like The Boys. The Boys is a great show, but I'm not gonna buy this. I don't feel like many people are gonna buy this, but it does look good for what it is. It's just so strange that they made Homelander, of all characters, as a Figma. He does have some pretty good accessories though, and this one specific face they included is perfect. Jolyne's Nendoroid came out really good, definitely one of the better ones I've seen in the JoJo line. We even get Rat Jolyne, freaking Rat Jolyne, hell yeah. Her stand powers are included as effect parts too, it's really good stuff, but for some reason, they decided to double down on the pre-order bonus this time. So instead of just getting a special stand, you also get a punching effect part, which is pretty substantial, and I think you'd be missing out on a lot by not pre-ordering it from their website. That of course means you pay more, but at least this Nendoroid is on the cheaper side, so it won't hurt too bad. When I first saw that Zagreus was getting a Nendoroid, I really didn't think it would turn out that good. I just felt like the art style would not necessarily translate over too well. And to my surprise, I think they did alright. Now, it definitely doesn't capture the unique coloring and style of the game. I think that would have been very difficult and maybe even expensive to do. However, I think they just wanted to make a solid enough representation of the character, and to that, I think they succeeded. He's fairly cheap, but still comes with a decent amount of accessories, and his faceplates look alright, though his mouth on both of them look a bit weird to me. This one's probably gonna be a bit divisive. Oh man, I don't even know what to say about this one. It's figures like this that makes me wish I was playing games like Arknights, because I don't know what Arknights is at all, and yet this is one of the coolest figures I have seen in a while. Methos or Methios, or however you say this company's name, is killing it with some of these figures. This is just so interesting looking. Like I said, I don't know this character. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it because I know I'm going to sound really stupid when I do. But she looks cool as well. Honestly, she is the least interesting part of this figure. Like, I'm not that impressed by like the coloring or the shading of her specifically. If I bought this and it looked exactly like the prototype though, I would not be upset at all. So even if I'm nitpicking some of the shading, it's fine. The stone hand is just perfect. The way it's like textured and colored, it just looks spot on. It's nice to see Silent Hill getting some more merch. Robbie the Rabbit in either blue or pink. You have to choose between one or the other, or you could buy both if you want both. And for such a simple Nendoroid, it really came out great. You could choose to either have blood on his face or not, and he comes with a buzzsaw and a stick. And while it doesn't sound like that much, it really does not have to be any more complicated than that. This is one of those Nendoroids that does what it needs to do, and it does it well. He's also got a fuzzy texture, so he's not smooth. This Karyl Figma from Princess Connect Redive has absolutely fantastic faceplates. And I think her just overall design and sculpt look really good for a Figma. Unfortunately, Figma prices are always going up, and I think that just under $100 is way too much for this, but if you like this character, you might want this. If you pre-order her through the Good Smile site, you get like an additional small acrylic plate that says like ya buy, but for me, it's gonna be no buy. Alright, we only have 2 altar figures this month, but this one is crazy. I don't really even know where to begin when I look at this. My eyes are drawn to both the dress like specifically right by her knees where it starts to twist in, and her hair, which is just flowing all around her body and curling in this really like fantastical way. It looks stunning, honestly, it really does. I have no idea who this is. There are so many Fate Grand Order characters, and this one is definitely not of my style. It's a bit too like gothic-y for me, but I do appreciate everything that's going on here. I think there's a lot of small details. I like her purse, her umbrella is nice, her face looks good. She's got like weird hair, like the weird bobs on the top of her head. I mean, it's Alter, right? We know this is gonna be great. And on top of it being Alter, the actual sculpt is really interesting this time. I guess the character design just lends to having a cool figurine. The more I stare at it, the more small details I find. I find new colors, I find new interesting things about it. I start to like it more and more. I also wish I knew what she was doing with her hand. It kind of looks like she's making a dog, like if there was like a shadow on the wall, it would be a dog. But yeah, Murasaki Shikibu, really cool figure from Alter this month. I feel like I should have looked at this one first, because this Megumi Katsuo from Saikano is definitely much more boring as a result, leading me to not have too much to talk about. But to be fair, the price is much cheaper. It's over $100 less, and you know it's going to be good because it's Alter. Alright, so let me be fair, her outfit is actually really cute. I specifically like her shoes and her socks, those just look adorable. And because of the way like the dress is kind of like blowing in one direction, from the back her legs look really slender and nice. She's cute, this is a good figure. I just don't have that much to say, unfortunately. The shading on this Sakura, specifically for the effect parts and the smoke coming out of the ground, looks so good. If they manage to make this look as good as the prototype, then this is going to be the best Sakura figure by far. I don't know, I'm just really impressed at what I'm seeing. And even Sakura herself looks perfect. And I don't like Sakura, I feel like a lot of people don't. But you gotta give them credit, they did make Sakura look genuinely cool here. If you missed out on this Arsene the first time, you should definitely consider getting it if you like Persona 5. This figure became very hard and expensive to find when it came out, so it's great that Megahouse is giving us another opportunity to pick it up. Now, this is the anniversary edition, and all that means is that the colors are like slightly different. So you might want to look into that some more just to make sure you like this color scheme. But in my opinion, they look really similar to the point where it would not be an issue of getting one or the other. And it's really unlikely you're going to find the original for a good price anyway. So you should definitely consider getting this. I mean, I do think this is a pretty badass looking Arsene. So I don't know why you would have any gripes about picking up this version specifically. They're also making a Joker, though comparatively I think this one is much less interesting, and I worry about him leaning in the future with that pose. I do think his face looks a lot better than the Kotobukiya one though, and having optional parts for both his gun and knife cover most of what you'd want out of a Joker figure. There's a new A to Z girl, this time C. I really like her weapon and her pink hair going along with like the black jacket. But I don't like her face. It's a bit uncanny to me, which is keeping me away from an otherwise really great price of only 13,800 yen. I really wish I liked this one more, but I don't know, something about it is just not working for me. Dude, the face on this girl's frontline figure is amazing. Genuinely looks beautiful. I also love her boots, and her braided ponytail that fades out into a lighter color looks really nice as well. I don't think I could pull the trigger on this one, but I feel like it's an easy recommendation if you like her. Does anyone actually like FNex? I feel like they're just such an unfortunate company that often gets these like good sculpt ideas, but never deliver on the actual product, and then ask for way too much money on top of that. There are so many good Miku figures, so I can't understand why anyone would specifically go to FNex and pay 40,000 yen for this. It's an interesting looking Miku, I'll give him that. This doesn't really look specifically like any other Miku I've seen, but I know it's just not gonna look like this in the end, and I know there's gonna be disappointment and regret and copium, so just do yourself a favor and steer away if you can resist. The Miku 2021 Expo is getting its own Nendoroid, and you can only order it from the Good Smile site. Her hair is fantastic for a Nendoroid. I love the curls and the way the colors fade towards the bottom. Her smiling faceplate is also really cute too. I'm not the biggest fan of this outfit though, it sorta looks like a pale jellyfish to me. So this one I couldn't find on AmiAmi for some reason, Asagi from Blue Archive. Now, I'm on the Plum web shop because if you manage to buy her here, you get an additional smiling faceplate, and hey, maybe you'd be interested in that. I can't help but feel like her normal smug face doesn't quite capture how it originally looks in official art, but otherwise, I do enjoy the outfit and color scheme going on here. It's a cute figure overall, I'd say. I don't know if anyone knows if B-Box is a good company or not. I'm pretty sure they're really new and none of their figures have come out yet. They're choosing to make a Sora wedding figure, which is kind of interesting. And I'll give them some credit, I do like a few of their ideas. I think the base specifically is really cute with the ribbon surrounding the grass. And the rabbit plush is a nice touch, but I don't like her eyes. There's something about her eyes that look a little off to me. Maybe it's just like the outline around her eyes or the eyelashes themselves are too dark. I don't know, but it doesn't look that good to me. There's nothing to really talk about here, but if you missed out on this Lancer 3rd Ascension figure from HxxG a few years back, they are re-releasing it, so pick it up if you want. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this one because I talked about it in the previous video about Prisma Wing, but I just wanted to point out that she is available for pre-order right now, and the more I look at it, the more it does grow on me a little bit. The outfit, which I already liked, does look better each time I look at the photos, and the fridge is still a cool concept that I think does make this a little bit more unique. Nah, it's cool. It's a cool figure. I just don't need it. So, this is the Yuki Summer Wedding version, and I do like the color scheme. I like all the roses throughout, and the ribbons look good too. But this is 25,000 yen, and I just think that's way too expensive. Alright, this is our last figure. I saved this one for the end. The 1/4 scale, Azure Lane, Taiho, and Raptured Companion. Now, there are many reasons why I saved this for last. Let's talk about the good. You can't talk about this figure without pointing out some very specific details, and I'm just gonna go straight to it. Her chest sculpt is one of the best I have ever seen. And I feel like if I went into too many details about it, I feel like I could age restrict myself. So I'm just gonna let the photo speak for itself. You could tell that Gravity is doing a lot of work here, if you know what I'm saying. It just looks insane to me, and I think a lot of people are buying this specifically because of this reason. And then you go down to the stomach, and that's well sculpted. Her thighs are really thick, and her boots are clearly very tight so that they're creating that like skin indentation that everyone loves. The paint overall looks amazing, her jacket is a wonderful red, and the inside is really well sculpted too. This is a really good figure, but if you aren't familiar with this one, you may have noticed that something looks a little off. Like her pose is strange, right? Her hands are in a weird position, and the way she's standing doesn't make sense. Well, that's because this figure is based off art, where she is laying down on a car, and they decided to adapt that art into a standing position. Unfortunately, this really doesn't work that well, and if it wasn't for everything else, I would not hesitate in saying they screwed up. But because of how expertly crafted everything else is, they kinda got away with it. Sure, it looks like she's wearing crazy platform shoes, and yeah, no one would ever stand up like this. But damn it, everything else is way too good. And that's gonna do it for the monthly pre-order roundup. I did not expect there to be so much to cover. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below if you plan to pick up any of this stuff. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like it, as it really does help me out. For more figure updates, news, reviews, and whatever else I come up with, be sure to subscribe to stay up to date as well. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a good one.